I'm Max from 7th Memory, and welcome back to Devlog number 10. I apologize for this video being a little late. Some stuff came up in our lives, and it just made it hard to do this, but we're back, and we have a few things to talk about. To give a brief recap on what my focus has been, I've worked on a bit of concept art for Harper that I'll show here, and Harper is going to be the main shopkeep of the general store in the town. And I drew a couple poses for ideas that could be like gags, because she's supposed to be a little uncaring and a little apathetic about her job, and so maybe these will all be variations that randomize whenever you enter the store. I've started drawing out the sprites. We at least have the background, so from there we'll expand on it and see what works best. But other than that, in general shop progress, a lot hasn't happened due to a game jam we participated in this week, which was the 2025 GMTK Game Jam. I won't talk about it here, but we'll have a little more information coming out soon enough about how we did and how our experience was this year. But today I'm going to be talking a lot about our shop system in the game. And the first thing we had to do is add another property to items, which was just the price. In our game, currently how it's set up, currently to buy an item it's 2 times that set price, and to sell it it's 1 times that set price. I'm sure the prices will be adjusted as we go and we balance our economy, but for now this is just some sort of baseline that we can have and tweak. So to actually create the shop menu, I made a state machine for buying, selling, chatting, as well as the main kind of shop menu. And our original idea for how shops were going to be laid out in our game was something similar to Fallout's shop system, where it's more of a trading thing and you can see both inventories on the same screen. While I think it's really effective and it has a good place in shop UI design, for the look we wanted to achieve and the feeling we wanted, I don't think it would have panned out as well as we would hope. We can always go back and tweak it if we have a better idea and want to actually implement it, but for now we kind of took a little inspiration from that, as well as traditional shop menus where there's a separate buy and sell option. Our current solution is that buying and selling are kind of one main menu, and you can swap between buying and selling at any point, and there will be a little animation to show that, and text at the top that shows you whether you're buying or selling based on if it's white or not. And the alignment of the boxes that display the information about the item and the list of items shifts to the side with the corresponding text. Overall, this menu is really similar to the main menu system for displaying items and descriptions as well as going through those, but rebuilding it helped me learn a lot more about control nodes, so later in the future building UI will be a lot easier and I'll have a better understanding of how nodes and Godot interact and require less code overall. We also have the shop system set up with an enum that tracks shopkeepers, and this is an idea that I had just so later we can hot swap out shop visuals and inventories based on the setting of which shopkeepers at the actual shop that we entered, as well as so we don't have multiple shop objects and we just change sprites in the inventory, and this just helps keep it simple. Currently the shop inventory works and buying and selling also work. Because we have the shop system set up as a state machine, we can always add more modes later, as well as just other menus and maybe even separate menus depending on how we get feedback on how it feels. We plan to also integrate the dialogue system with the talking system in the shop, and we have to work a little bit on our dialogue system to make sure it can integrate properly. Now I know this devlog was pretty brief, but just to keep it short, we have a few more things that we're going to be looking to work on in the future weeks. Of course, we always got to work on the shopkeeper art and some more NPC designs, and we want to make guys that we love to draw and guys that we think are silly, and this would come with portraits and overworld sprites and stuff like that, but we're going to have fun making these. We also might have to reevaluate our dialogue and cutscene system. We have to actually build a cutscene system, but we have some concerns about cutscene movement and other things we want to integrate into cutscenes. So we might end up writing our own dialogue system, but we'll have to see. Of course, we always plan to keep making progress on the areas and finalizing and implementing some basic items just to have, and we have some more decorations that we're making, and I've been working a little bit on the music here or there. If you've been listening closely to the background of the last couple of videos, you might have heard some different songs that we haven't shared yet, and at some point I'll probably do a music video talking about some of the songs in the game, as well as the process and my thoughts and some of the theory behind it, just because I feel like that's interesting and it might be interesting to you as well. But I want to make sure we're all happy with the music first before we share it completely with you guys and say this is the official song that we're using. In other news, we also had a Substack article come out this last week which covered the battle system and other odds and ends we've talked about, like menus and pits, throughout this last month of devlogs. And keep your eye out for one more coming soon that talks about the game jam and is kind of a post-mortem evaluating what we did and how we could have done it better, as well as some of the other approaches we could have taken to our idea. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry the video is so short, but hopefully we have a little bit more to talk about in the future. Olive will see you next week discussing the game jam and our process and experience, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.